Hey guys, welcome to Mindshift. Today we're going to have a very special episode with a very special person. We're going to talk about starting anew. The new year started 2022, and together with my friend and co-author Tassos Stavropoulos, we are going to talk about this. I'm going to introduce him in a bit. Just for everyone who is listening for the first time, Mindshift is my video series, which is directed towards people who want to grow, people who want to develop, people who want to create these atomic shifts in their mind so that they can create a life with more prosperity, with more love, with more satisfaction, and just people who are coming here, they really um, want to create the best version of their life, and they're doing it every single day. So what is going to happen now? I'm going to talk a little bit about Tassos. Tassos, I met him uh, because he was a co-author in the book which I was co-authoring, Visionary Male Leaders. We had a great journey together of creating our chapters and creating this amazing book, which actually got a best-selling ranking in several countries in the world, which we are really proud of. Tassos is a fellow coach. He actually graduated the same academy I graduated, IPEC, and he's a mindfulness coach. He's also a person who loves exploring philosophies of cultures of different countries. He's been in more than 25 countries. In his previous life he was a manager in a big corporation. We're going to talk a little bit more about it and the big changes he created in his life after he left his job. And he started his inside out revolution in 2019, 2020, when he created so many shifts in his life. And that's why, actually, that was one of the reasons why I invited him, because recently he created this starting a new thing for himself. And I think he has a lot of things to share with us based on his recent experience on that. So welcome, Tassos. Welcome here in Mindshift.
Thank you so much, Dimi. It's wonderful being here with you. Thank you for this invitation. And what a great opportunity to talk about starting anew in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of this new year. Although I think that, the message that we can spread out in the world is that we can start anew every day in our lives.
Mm, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I mean, let's start with the first part of what we want to talk about today. And this is about your story, a story of starting anew. And I was really inspired of the story you shared with me, because it's not only about the job, it's about personal changes you had in your life. So actually, it seems to me that your life actually turned, I wouldn't say upside down, but it turned around after all of these experiences which came together in your life. So share with us your story, which can be as an inspiration for the beginning of this session.
Thank you. So, first of all, I would like to tell you and everybody that I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. And as soon as I finished engineering and I did an MBA, my dream was to work in a plant, to work in a multinational company and become a plant manager. So I have been working in different industries for the last 20 years, more than 20 years. And in the last company I was working for, I worked in every position in the supply chain. So from quality control to production planning, logistics, production logistics manager, which is plant manager, and eventually operations manager. So it seemed that my dream that I had, as a student when I was studying engineering, was already achieved. Nonetheless, we never know what life is what life's plan is for us. And in Forrest Gump, I remember, Tom Hanks was saying that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find. So in the last 3 years of my life, although I loved my work, I felt that I was in conflict with my own values, and I wasn't feeling calm inside. I wasn't feeling complete inside. I felt that there was something more that I wanted to do. There was a different way I wanted to show up in the world. This started from a relationship with my supervisor in the last years, which has nothing to say. I mean, there's no right or wrong. Everybody have their own perspective, and we're all unique human beings. But it's just that I didn't feel aligned with who I truly was. So I happened to find this advert about the coaching program. This was before we started at IPEC together, and by the end of 2019, this journey started. I started the coaching program in Greece, which was a 1-year program. And after the first month, I started finding Tassos again. I started finding myself and being more aligned to who I was and who I really wanted to be. So in this journey, I put my boundaries, and I decided to follow my heart and do what I want to do in life. So I changed completely course. I stopped after 22 years of working in multinational companies as an engineer and manager, and I started from scratch being a coach. Then I felt that I wanted to learn more because I have a passion for learning. Learning is for me, something that I love to do, and I'm sure that I'm going to do it forever. Every day I want to learn something and expand my awareness. So that was when I started IPEC. And after that, I had my own company and I started my coaching sessions. So this was the first part of starting professionally from scratch. And the second part was that at the same time, I divorced with my wife. We were married. We were happily married for 6 years together, but in the last years, we both felt that we were vibrating in different frequencies. And to be honest, I think that we also had our egos too high, and we didn't compromise with each other. So in the midst of changing from an engineer to a coach and studying and taking this completely different approach, at the same time, things were changing in my relationship. So in the beginning, we were not together for since the beginning of 2020. This was not one of my goals. I didn't consciously want to divorce my wife. So for 1 year, I gave the best that I had in order to reconnect with her. Then I finally realized that everybody has their own path, and it's perfectly well and perfectly accepted. And I also went along my life. So this is in a nutshell. And it started, let's say, these changes started in 2020, were concluded by the end of 2020, but also 2021 was a year of a lot of lessons and a year that in which I continued my inward journey.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Tassos. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit more about 2021 in the next part of this conversation, but what I can say is I'm really admiring your courage to actually do all of this, like, decide to change direction in your career after 20 something years in corporate, and then get divorced with your wife, which is, everyone knows, it's not easy thing to do. So it seems to me that for a year or something, you just decided to totally start anew. which is very scary for people, I think. What was the main thing you think, the main reason, the main catalyst, which helped you to really follow through with these
Mm.
decisions?
Well, I can tell you it was scary for me as well. Um, in both cases, it was scary. Okay, in the case of my job, I wanted to change. So I consciously wanted to make this step. But then, we are all products of our experiences and the way that we are conditioned by our parents, our friends, our teachers, and society in general. And there's this saying in the community around us that you shouldn't change work until you find another one. So this was scary for me because, as I said, in the last 2 years, I felt in conflict with my values. I wanted to make a change, but I was afraid to do it. And in fact, I didn't want to find a new job. I wanted to just stop, relax, and connect with myself, and then start anew. But the people that I asked, their advice was, no, don't stop with your work. Go on until you find a new one. But then this, made the pressure bigger inside of me. So the catalyst that you asked for was coaching. Coaching helped me to find my own boundaries, helped me to face my fears, and follow my heart. So then this was something that I did consciously and with love and with courage. And I didn't think about the next day, because I knew that as long as I would do something that was meaningful to me and I would be aligned with who I truly am, I knew without knowing that this would create a new flow in my life and a new start in my life. The catalyst for my personal change, well, in this case, I didn't want to get a divorce because I loved my wife. I knew that we were different in some ways, and we were vibrating probably in different frequencies. But for me, it was more difficult. And I did my best to reconnect for a year. The catalyst was that after working with myself, I realized that, okay, I love my wife, but I still love her, but in a different way. Okay, I care about her. But it wasn't my love for my wife that kept me from starting anew and wanting to reconnect with her. It was my fear of starting personally my life at 50 alone by myself. So I had to face this fear, and I also realized, and this was a great lesson to me, that unconsciously I had this urge of being approved by others, and this was throughout my life, okay, in my professional life, but also in my personal life, and I felt that I wanted to be approved by her and be accepted and reconnect with her. So I just realized that eventually this was a fear that I had and a need that I had that didn't come from my pure love for her, but it had to do with me. So I just let go the need to be approved by others, and last year, so 2021, was the first year in my life that I felt completely peaceful and complete inside, without the need to be approved or without the need to accomplish something. So in this case, I had to overcome my fears, and the journey was longer there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you for sharing that, man. I mean, it's really vulnerable, especially for a man, to share that, which shows how courageous you got. throughout this year is to just share your story and your, you know, fears you had to overcome. And I just want to share before we go to the next topic, guys, that you want to see that he's 50 years old. He did all these decisions not when he was 20, but when he was around 50, which a lot of people are afraid to do because they're afraid that they're going to be alone and they don't know what to do. He started a new career at this age and a new life, private life with that. So I want that to be example for you, and just to mm, no matter how old you are, that you always have a choice to start anew, and not only have a choice, but you can make it, you can create, you can go to the next level of your life when you start anew. That's very important to know. And I've started my life several times anew in the last 12, 13 years when I went to personal growth. And every time when I started, I had fear, I had doubts, but I can tell you 100% that it was worth it, because I was following my instincts, my intuition, you could say. Like uh, Tassos shared that now he's more aligned with who he is, and the same is with me. So every one of us knows. I'm sure that we know when we need to start anew,